Hey everyone, I'm Jay.
And I'm Sean.
And we watched a movie.
Yeah, sure we did.
Yeah, so we have been watching tons of scary movies because it's Spooktober.
Yeah, and you're not even freaking out about them anymore.
I know. What is wrong?
You're being desensitized. It's finally happened.
Finally. You think I'm going to be a not sensitive person now?
I guess we'll see. You're probably just not going to cry at anything anymore. It'll be a real tragedy.
I'm going to cry when you hurt my feelings.
Yeah, like right now.
Anyways, guys, we watched Scream.
Oh, yeah.
Scream. Oh my goodness. This is going way back to the 90s.
That is.
A Wes Craven directed movie. And Wes Craven, at that point in his career, had decided to get away from scary movies. He was known for it originally. It's where he cut his teeth as a director, and he had some great stuff.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm. So he didn't really want to do a scary movie, and yet some little boy, like a 10-year-old boy, accosted him one day and told him he was getting soft, and he realized, okay, I need to go back to the genre.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And what 10-year-old boy said this to Wes Craven?
Knows Wes Craven by sight, a director.
Yeah, and then has seen not only his horror movies, but also the rest of his catalog, and is disappointed.
I know. I mean, it's Wes Craven who tells the story. Maybe he's making it up, because it does feel a little dubious, and yet I love it. I hope a little boy shamed him into making Scream.
Well, good on that little boy, whoever that is. Maybe it was Skeet Ulrich.
Maybe it was. I mean, if you are that little boy, or if you know that little boy, please get in contact with us. We really...
I would love to.
Yes.
I would love to know that.
Yeah, you need to come on here and tell us this whole story. And who else you've shamed over the years.
Yeah.
Has it led to career revivals or... I mean... It might not always go that way.
Yeah,
I don't know how sound your advice is.
It went well this time.
It did. I mean, Scream, I will say, revitalized the slasher flick.
Absolutely.
Which had grown tired.
Super tired.
It was overdone. And I mean, obviously there are tons of ways to do it, and yet everyone kind of was doing it the same.
Everyone had the Halloween formula.
Yes, that's right.
They just kept remaking that movie with... I mean, not only Michael Myers, although there's like 7 or 8 of those by that point. There's Nightmare on Elm Street. There's Friday the 13th, which are all basically the same thing.
Same basic thing. Some of them good, a lot of the sequels bad.
Yeah.
So Scream comes along with a brilliant script by Kevin Williamson, and it's reinventing the genre. It's halfway to a spoof by itself. Now, I was just telling people that on October 19th, the spoof movies, Scary Movie 1 through 5, are coming off Netflix. So if you want to check them out, do that first. But the Scream movies, of which there are 4, they're self-referential. They are definitely referencing scary movies of all types.
They are. So they're referencing the other slasher movies by name. They are dissecting them and talking about the rules and how you get killed first and how you avoid being killed. And
be a virgin.
Yep. Number 1.
To survive.
Yep.
Don't have sex. Yep. Don't drink.
Yep. Don't say I'll be right back.
That's right. Yeah. So it was almost spoofing, but it's also an homage. Clearly there's a lot of respect there. It does still feel like a Wes Craven film in a lot of ways. The villain or the bad guy or whatever you want to call him. What's the...
Yeah. He's the slasher.
The bad guy. Or girl. The Ghostface. Feels a little Wes Craven-y, so it's funny, but I guess you can't write a horror movie that's self-referential and not be referencing Wes Craven. And then to get him on board as the director is kind of quite a coup.
Yeah, it is.
So those things together made for a movie that surprised a heck of a lot of people. It was released late in December, and then the second week, just on word of mouth, had a huge uptick, and even the third week improved on the second week, which is unheard of. But it was the 10th highest grossing movie of that year, and it came out in late December. So that's what a crazy, crazy hit this was. And so, of course, they had to make a sequel.
Or 2, or 3, or
4. We'll stop there because we're still talking about that first movie that started this whole thing off.
Which is the best one.
Spoilers ahead, guys. This movie is over 20 years old. If you haven't seen it yet,
you
shame
should go
on you.
See it.
Yeah.
And just pause this and come back.
Yes. So, Drew Barrymore, the biggest name in the cast, the center of all the movie posters, she opens up the movie. There is a wonderful opening sequence.
It's great.
She is opening up some Jiffy Pop. And this is old, like even in the 90s, this was almost already obsolete.
Yeah,
it was like a
foil
thing, yes, that you put on. That is almost a clock in the scene that is telling us how much time has gone by. And, you know, not only does the popcorn pop, but eventually everything is out of control. It's on fire. And the fact that she doesn't even stop to put it out tells you exactly what she's going through in that moment. She's going to watch, she's home alone.
She's gonna watch a scary movie.
Night. She's gonna watch a scary movie. Her boyfriend's coming over. She gets a phone call.
From a creepy voice guy.
And a creepy voice asks her what is her favorite scary movie. So this voice wants to quiz you on scary movie trivia. This guy is into horror movies. He's a horror villain himself now. Anyways, that opening sequence is tremendous.
Yeah, it is. It sets the tone for the whole thing.
Heart-pounding. And spoiler alert, Drew Barrymore dies.
Which is awesome.
Which is awesome.
It sets the tone.
Yes.
No one is safe, literally.
No one is safe. They will kill off the person you assumed was the star of the whole shebang. It really is brilliant. Drew Barrymore was asked to be the Sydney, I guess, but really wanted to play this one instead because it would be unexpected.
Yeah.
And that really, you know, was a fresh spin on things. And it did surprise audiences. Holy cow. You know, we're used to her having to chase this guy the whole time. And instead she succumbs. So right off the bat, we see 2 big murders of a named star, a big star.
Yeah.
And those are almost unrelated to everything that comes next.
Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, the only real effect of them is they get the media involved right away.
Yes, that's right. Gail Weathers, played by Courteney Cox. And let's just say, this is a very 1990s cast that they assembled.
Yeah, it is.
So, Sydney is played by Neve Campbell. It has been 1 year since her mother was murdered. And this is a small town where murders are not a commonplace thing. So this was already...
Well, they didn't used to be.
That's right. So her mother being murdered, I think, already had made national news. And so this minute they hear that there's been more murders in this town, everybody goes back to it. There's media involved immediately. And it's 2 high school students who have been murdered. So Sydney ends up going to a party, even though it's supposed to be like a
lockdown.
Yeah.
9 o'clock curfew.
And then all of her friends are being targeted and picked off one by one at this party. So who have we got as our friends? Rose McGowan.
Yep.
Skeet Ulrich.
Yep.
Matthew Lillard. Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah.
That's basically...
That's the core group.
That's the core group. Now,
super 90s.
Yeah, yes.
So 90s.
Oh my
like most
God,
of these people have not worked since the 90s.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. And poor Sydney is being stalked by this creepy voice. And let's just say that voice was so well cast.
Oh, it's awesome.
Wow. Whew.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yes. Also, the mask that they use. This was a mask that was already part of a Halloween costume. It wasn't called Ghostface at the time. That got renamed because of the movie. But it was a scary look.
Yeah.
You know, it's disturbing because it's a little bit familiar. It's almost like those, you know, comedy drama masks. It's a little bit like The Scream.
Yeah. It is. It's a little bit like a skull, and then this guy has like the Grim Reaper outfit, running around all in black. He's super quick.
He is.
He seems to teleport around.
Oh boy, he does pop out of every door,
closet.
every corner.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And because like Jamie Kennedy plays like a video store guy who knows so much about scary movies, so he's watching, I think, Halloween
he is
in
that
this
is
movie,
absolutely right,
and always telling about all of these rules, so you feel like you're going to be safe, and nothing is ever safe. 50 gallons of fake blood were used in this movie. 50 gallons of fake blood splashed everywhere. Linda Blair, the little girl from The Exorcist, she makes a cameo as a reporter in this movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix turned down the part of Billy Loomis.
Is that Skeet Ulrich?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
That's funny.
Yeah. I mean, all of these every young actor and actress you can think of turned down these roles. They were shy to be in a movie.
Except Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. But I think at the time, they were getting tired, those movies, and so it didn't feel like it would be good for your career.
I can see that on paper, especially at the time, as you said. People are...
Even now, there's a little bit of a, if you start that way, you'll stay that way.
Yeah.
So it is difficult. Henry Winkler came on board.
He sure did.
He's actually in an uncredited role because he didn't want to take away from the young people in the movie who are the focus of the movie. He plays the high school principal.
Yeah, he does.
It's a great little cameo, though.
Yeah, it is.
And when he is looking in his closet in the principal's office, you will spot a leather jacket that looks exactly like the one the Fonzie used to wear.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they had an incident on set when they were filming Drew Barrymore's part, which she did all in 5 days and then left. She didn't get to interact with any of the other cast members. It was a very isolated little part. But the prop guy who gave her the phone forgot to turn it off. And so the whole time she is filming this, she is calling 911 for real and then screaming bloody murder into it. So yeah, the cops showed up. They were like, what's going on? But it was a live phone. That's rule number one. Yeah.
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 Don't do that.
Don't do that. And an unexpected consequence of this movie is that what's that called? Caller ID. Caller ID. Of course, nobody answers any unknown call these days. They pop up on your cell phone as a matter of course. But back in the 90s, it was invented but very rare. It increased. People signed up for it threefold after this movie.
Wow.
And in fact, by the time they made the sequel to this movie, they even comment in the sequel how much better it would have been to have that the first time around.
Yeah, it really would have been. I also did like in this movie how when Skeet Ulrich's character has a cell phone, that automatically makes him a suspect because no one has cell phones.
Except serial killers, obviously. Why else would you even need one? Of course... and they're like, well, we'll just look it up and see, cross-reference.
We'll check the records.
Of course, a serial killer today would know to get a burner. Yeah. So, like, it is very much a product of its time. Yeah. Yes, it's so cute. Now, you may have heard that a fifth movie, a fifth Scream, is on its way.
I think I heard that from you.
Ooh, boy. Will it be good or will it be a piece of shit? That's the question. Kevin Williamson is not writing, but he has agreed to be an executive producer, which basically means I want a piece of the pie, but without really doing any work. Probably having his name will attract and give a little bit of legitimacy.
It gives a little bit of legitimacy to it. I agree with that, but... Yeah.
Not enough?
Not enough on its own to make it a hit. It's very questionable at this point.
It is questionable. It's sad because Wes Craven directed all 4 of them, which is very, you know, certainly even back in his Nightmare on Elm Street, is that what it's called?
Yep.
Nightmare on Elm Street days, he wasn't directing the sequels.
No, he kind of moved on. He did a lot of stuff.
Yes. I mean, he sold those rights right away. He didn't really want to retread. Probably for the best.
Well, yeah. I mean, the ones without him, they just go downhill.
Yes. So will that trend continue in the Scream franchise? Well, the duo who are directing this one, they actually go by Radio Silence. They directed the actually very good horror movie Ready or Not. Apparently penned a very sincere note to Neve Campbell to get her online because she didn't really want to do it without Wes Craven. And really, they did 4. They probably didn't need to do 3 or 4, to be honest. I mean, it wasn't really there for the 3rd. People didn't really care for it. So it actually was like a decade before they did number 4, and people didn't show up for that one either. So do we need a 5th? Certainly not. We do not need a 5th.
It got so convoluted. I don't really remember. Like, I couldn't tell you what happened in 2, 3, or 4. Mm-hmm. But there was a whole lot of, like, backstory on backstory that...
Yes, and there becomes a movie within the movie.
That's right.
So they are filming a movie based on their movie, I think called Stab or something like that.
That's right.
So, as you said, convoluted up the wazoo. It's very hard to keep track of things. Yeah.
So I don't know then where they go for number 5.
True.
Other than like trying to reboot it. Mm-hmm. But then it's...
But then why have Neve Campbell back? And Courteney Cox and David Arquette.
Okay.
So those people are all coming back playing their same characters. So.
Everyone else is probably dead. Like
somewhere along the way. Yes, of course. Yeah. That's right. In fact, David Arquette died in the first one. he went down, but in test audience loved his character so much they stuck a little thing in the end to make it seem like maybe he survived. They just like rolled him into an ambulance. But the whole rest of the time, like he's just lying dead. He is playing a dead body. He is not breathing in any of the scenes. Because according to the script, he was dead. And then they just refilmed just one shot of him getting wheeled into an ambulance to indicate that
maybe
he might be alive.
Okay. And it turned out he was super okay.
Yeah.
Because he was in like every single other one, I think.
That's right. So, yeah, the 5th, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
The thing about it is when you compare like 1996 for the first Scream to right now, horror movies are in a really different place. Like we said, it was a little embarrassing if you were in a horror movie because it was a B movie at the time. It wasn't a respected thing. Very few people broke out of horror films. So we know like Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah. But very few people were breaking out of them. So nobody wanted to associate themselves with them. It was a little bit dirty. Now, we have Oscar caliber art house films being made. So... exactly how do we fit Scream 5 into this new landscape of horror movies? Does it have to become that kind of elevated thing? Because how else do you reference the horror movies of your time than if you don't become one yourself?
Yeah, well, that is what it has to be a Scream movie. Mm-hmm. That's always what this franchise was about. Mm-hmm. They were supposed to be smart and... both satirizing and giving you the slasher feel at the same time. But yeah, as
but being smarter and better.
Being smarter and better. So yeah, how are they going to outsmart?
It's hard to outsmart these, yeah. So
that's tough.
It is a tall order. Best of luck to them. But yeah, let's just for today be really happy that I got through Scream, which I had seen before as a kid. I know I've seen it. Not remembered anything really, but I'd seen it, but got through it like a real,
like a pro,
a real person. Yeah.
More than a real person.
Ooh.
A horror buff.
Oh boy. Oh, I don't know about buff. Not sure I'm ready to append that to my name yet, but I did it.
You did
I
it.
did it. Just 3 more to go. And by October 19th, all 5 scary movies too.
No.
Okay.
No, let's not
all right.
do that to
I'm not gonna.
ourselves.
Yeah, let's not do it. Let us know if we should. Which do you think is the best one in the franchise? And do you have any optimism whatsoever for Scream 5? Maybe?
Don't you want to hope?
That's right.
Recapture
Choose
the
hope.
magic?
Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.